Craft Time with Miss Teri.
Hello, it's Miss Teri with Carnegie Library, and it's time for our preschool craft time. Today's craft time is going to be making a mermaid or a fairy out of a clothespin. And I'm going to show you how you can make it out of a regular clothespin or one of the little old-fashioned clothespins that you can buy at Michael's in the craft store. Either one will work fine. However, I like this kind better to make these because it's just cuter. So parents, you will need to help your 4-year-old or preschooler with this craft because there is a lot of gluing and stuff. So and there is some cutting, so they will need a little help. So you will need, of course, a clothespin, whichever kind you want to use. You'll need a bit of yarn to use as hair. And I just wrapped it around my fingers like probably 20-25 times in loop, and then I cut it. And I just put it to the side, and we'll deal with that in a minute. You will need, and this is completely optional, but you can do like a little bit of material to use as a dress for the fairy, and a little bit of either lace or that tulle that's like really kind of lacy, pretty, flowy. And you'll need either some glittery paper or glittery foam. So I use the foam. And glue, scissors, and either paint pens, Sharpies, or paints, or even just markers will work. Just know that if it's the kind of markers that's washable, it might come off on your hands. And then I like to use glue dots because I just think that it's easy to put a dot of glue on there and it's stuck on there. So let's get started. So I already cut things out. So for the wings and the tail, if you're going to do both or either, all you got to do is cut out a heart. So I'm going to be using the old-fashioned clothespin as the mermaid. So as you can see, if I put it in here like that, it's a perfect fin. If I was to use it as a fairy, I would put it like a heart, and all of a sudden, poof, it makes perfect wings. So either way you do it, it's just a heart. So just cut out a heart out of your glittery paper or glittery foam. And then I just did a little square out of the material because it'll go around the fairy doll as her little dress. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to, on the mermaid doll, we're going to color on her bathing suit top. And I want it to be pink, but you can do whatever color you want to do. You do you, alrighty? So her tail is going to go in this little slot right here, like this. So we want to make sure we put her bathing suit top in the right spot, which would be in front, all right? And normally I would put like, you know, draw a shell or something, but I'm not that good of a drawer today. Oof. So you draw 2 little circles And then once we do that, your markers or paints or paint pens might bleed into the wood, so you might want to test it out. My paint pen bled just a little bit, but it's not major, so I'm not going to worry about it. Now we want to do the rest of her tail, because we just have her fin part, so we want to color the rest of it. So I'm doing it green, and it's probably not going to be the exact color green because mine's kind of a light green, but that's okay. It doesn't have to match all the way. So you're going to draw a straight line across, or you can go kind of like, almost like you're making the top of a heart. Like this. And then you're going to color all the way down. And this one, it doesn't really matter if it bleeds because you're coloring all the way down anyway. The fairy doll is not this intensive because we actually just glue her clothes on instead of coloring them. Okay, so we've got the bottom part of her tail colored on. So the last part we do with her, coloring wise, is we're going to put her eyes and her nose on her. And I just do 3 little dots for her eyes and her nose. So 1, 2, 3. And maybe just a little smile if you're feeling brave, okay? So while she sits there and dries for a minute, we're going to switch over to our fairy. So on the fairy, I took the metal part out. It's one of those pinchy ones that you pinch the end and it holds on to your clothes, or your potato chips is what we use them for in our house. So I took the metal part out and I used the glue dots to glue the pieces together like this. And what I figure that we would do is this little circle right here at the top, that's going to be our fairy's mouth. She's going to be going, so she's going to be kind of a funny fairy. And she's going to have long yellow hair, so it's going to cover up this funny part on the top, kind of like that, all right? So the first thing we want to do is we want to glue on her pink dress that I made out of material, and it's sparkly. Ooh, ah. So we're going to put some of this liquid glue on. And these little notches on the side right here, that I thought makes a great neck. So we're going to glue it right below that. And just put glue all the way around. My glue is kind of stopped up here. And then you just stick it on there. You kind of want the seam to be in the back. And where it meets in the back, you might have to put a little more glue right here on top. Just like that. And kind of hold it for a minute. And maybe even blow. Try to get it to dry. And then while that's sitting there drying, we are going to put our eyes and nose on. So 3 dots. 1, 2, and a nose kind of in the middle where the 2 places meet. And so for her mouth, I was going to do something a little different. I was going to try to put her to have kind of like a lipstick mouth. Come back here, little mermaid. Sometimes these paint pens don't want to go. I think my paint pen is dried out. I don't hear it. So maybe we'll do a Sharpie instead. Or, you know what? We could do pink lipstick. So we can do lipstick. I like that. She looks silly though, because she doesn't have any hair yet. And also, we haven't finished her dress. So, we have to put this little bit of lacy stuff around her. So, I just wrap it around. And keep wrapping it around her. Because this is really kind of like her skirt. This is kind of like playing dress up, only you're making your doll clothes. And then instead of gluing, I have a little belt that I have made out of the glittery foam, because this glittery foam actually has a sticky backing on it. So there's her dress. Now we're going to put her hair on. Oh, I just didn't have it open enough, was what it was. So I have it in this loop here, and you want to put the loop right on top of the glue. and on the side also where you put glue. And then at the bottom where it's still loopy, you just cut it. Just like that. Now you don't want to keep pressing on it like I'm doing because it becomes sticky and it starts sticking to your fingers. So you want to kind of just put it on there and kind of try to leave it alone. I know it's hard to leave it alone, but so the last thing we do with this one is we're going to put some glue on the back. And put, oh, I put that the wrong way. Let's do it this way. Let's do it the right way. See, I've got a piece of hair stuck to me because I held it too long. And that's what happened to you too if you hold it too long. So make sure you don't do that. All right, so let's sit her to the side for a minute so we can finish our mermaid. So our mermaid, we don't actually have to glue because remember I said we had that sticky backing? So we just pull it off, or at least cut it in the middle. You might want to leave it on the sides so that it doesn't stick to everything. If you can get a spot in the middle like this that's sticky, remember it goes upside down, so it's like an upside down heart. You're going to stick it in there and go until the bottom part here is touching the bottom part of the clothespin, okay? You just stick it, just like that. And then we want to glue her hair on. So same thing, we're going to put her loop of hair right here. And try not to get your fingers stuck on it, like I did. And then go in the back and just cut it. And try not to touch it too much. I know it's hard because you want to play with it, but you want to wait till it's dry. All right. And that's it, guys. We're done. So it didn't take very long, and it's just like playing dress-up dolls. So here's our little mermaid. And here's our screaming, our happy, laughing fairy. And we're all done. And you can make lots of them with different color hair and different outfits. So Thank you for joining me for our preschool story time, our preschool craft time. I hope you join me again. See you later.